There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America.
A new vision will govern our land.
Our job is not to divide. Our job is to bring people together.
By the people, for the people, and of the people.
Our youth has power.
Hello, everyone. This is Jessica Rodriguez with the Border Talks podcast, and we're back with a new episode. So today we're going to talk about the Stop Asian Hate initiative that is going across the country. And with me today, I have a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Juan Lao. I'm studying here in TAMIU. I'm majoring in biology and minoring in sociology. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. We're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on in the recent year. So Asian hate has been present for many years, decades, but in this recent year, we actually saw a rise in Asian hate crimes. So many would say that it was caused by, stereotypes with the coronavirus. And then also we've seen some Asian crimes with like mass shootings. So I just wanted to get your general opinion about what's been going on lately.
Well, here in Laredo, it's not really a big of deal of the Asian hate community, like Asian hate. But if you look at the more diverse countries or places like New York, California, like Atlanta, it's more big of a deal. It's more like a lot of problems with it because Asian communities are getting hurt or like getting, they're like getting like harmed and like killed and stuff. So I think it does really hurt because not every Asian is has this like a virus. Like Asian is like huge. So coronavirus is just like one place, but when other people see it, is like the whole community of Asians. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's very true. And according to the Pew Research website, we have a large amount of like different ethnic groups from Asian countries. And some of them are Chinese people, Indian people, Filipinos, Vietnamese people, Korean, Japanese, and then we have other subgroups that fall under that. So we do have like a problem of like stereotyping and categorizing Asian Americans from coming from just one region. So that is certainly a problem that we're seeing right now. But I want to get a little more into your background and your history. So could you tell me more about like who you are, like what history do you have like with your family, and like have you been discriminated against here in Laredo or anywhere you've like been,
Well, luckily no, but well, I was born and raised in the Philippines. Moved here in Texas, Edinburgh, 4 to 5 years, and then my dad moved here first because of the work. His work, he has a contract, and then he actually took us for better opportunity. So I think that a lot of like Asian people, like Asian communities, Asian American in US, because they see it as a better opportunity because, like other countries has like a low paying. So moving here is bigger opportunity. And then for us, because since I moved here, other people like in the Philippines back home see us as like rich or, like rich or like smart. But in reality, it's actually really hard to live like in here in the United States since like we're immigrants. And then it's like it painted the Asian community as smart, hardworking, obedient, and then rich and very successful. But it like we see if someone compliment this to the Asian people, like Asian community, they like it sounds as positive things for us, but in reality it's actually not. It creates like this burden to us that, like, for example, in education is a huge thing for us, for immigrants, because it's our success. So it creates this image of like, if you get A, you're good. But if you go like below B or like B in general, it means like all really bad, or like, like go out of house and stuff. So for me, in my experience, is I think it creates like a mental health issues.
Oh.
Yeah, like for some people, like actually a lot of Asian communities, I think the way I research is like the mental health problems has like suicidal thoughts is Asian communities has more rate than the normal American people, because of this the creation of the stereotypical of being smart and stuff. So because I believe that, like, for me, when I get bad grades, I believe like, oh, you know what, like, why am I have this grade, like I should be hardworking and stuff. So it has, for like the people that doesn't it creates some mental health problems for the people that doesn't fit into their stereotypical. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, that makes total sense, and it's not something that I really, like dove into, that this can have a serious mental effect on the Asian community. And that kind of leads into the model minority myth that we want to talk about with you. So according to the learningforjustice.org website, they defined it as this: the myth of the model minority is based in stereotypes. It perpetuates a narrative in which Asian Americans are whiz kids or musical geniuses. The myth characterizes Asian Americans as polite, law-abiding group who have achieved a higher level of success than the general population through a combination of innate talent and pull yourself up by the bootstraps mentality. So would you say that that's an accurate description of like what Asian Americans like are kind of stereotyped as?
Actually, yeah, because I think they are painted with this because since like back history, immigrants go over here, they work hard, and then they see this as like you're working hard, and then when you work hard, you became rich. So, but it's not everybody has the same opportunities for Asian American. So this became what is the word, like stamped on, like it became permanent to us, that even though you don't tell us, like in our mind, it's still saying to us, like like you move here so you can have better opportunity, and better opportunity means you need to work hard, you need to outstand some people. Some of them actually don't. That's why, like I tell you, like it became like a mental health problems. And then plus they see these people like, oh, you're like good at math. Actually, I've experienced this in high school, where like we're in a pre-cal or like a geometry or something. Is like he's saying, he's like, oh, I thought you're gonna be like smart because you know this stuff. But it didn't really affect it that much. For me, it didn't really affect it that much. But for some people, it really affects them.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, and then actually, because of that, like like that burden, that you have to be smart, you have to be successful. Like I have one friend in high school. His name is John. He was a Korean, and he told me all his stories of how his parents pushed him to become like a doctor, because the stereotypical is for Asian is it's either engineer or like a doctor or something. So, and then if you move away to those path, it means you're like a rebel for some cultures, because you don't follow their footsteps. So for John, instead, like for John as an example, his parents forced him to, not force him, but like keep telling him like, oh, you need to be successful, you need to be a doctor, you need to be to earn a lot of money. So he was shy and stuff,
Mhm.
and he told me that it became a burden to him that um it scares him to fail. Like even for me, like I'm really scared to fail because I don't want to disappoint my family as well as like other people. And so yeah, and it's actually really smart, but that problem actually takes away his social life from academic.
Yeah.
So like it sacrifices his social life and stuff. So yeah.
So I think that's a very interesting perspective is that, the Asian community kind of has to like subvert their happiness and their dreams because there's
Mhm.
such a weight of like, expectations on them. So thank you for sharing that experience for him. But yes, something else that I wanted to ask you about is here in Laredo, we may have like a small Asian community, but do you think that we should still be talking about these topics? Like, what can we do to be more mindful of these problems that happen to, some members of our community, but just like people in whole in the country?
It's a good thing that we should talk about like the anti-Asian hate
Mhm,
to all the world because it gives awareness to the people that there's still a lot of countries, places that hates Asian people.
mhm,
Like we don't see it, we don't hear it, but because people decided to not say anything. Like I've seen like videos and stuff that she was like a live streamer
mhm,
where she was like live streaming and then you see this videos while she's live streaming, like she was being harassed and stuff, like walking in the streets, eating in restaurants. So it really it's really a big problem for the Asian. It's really big problem for us too, but we don't really talk about it. So talking about the anti-hate is actually a good thing, even though there's no like problems here in Laredo. Like
mhm,
it just gives awareness to all the people. Like educating people about racism for Asian is really a good thing.
mhm,
So it tells people that no, this is not right. Um, that you should not follow the steps of the racism. And talking back to the reason of what is it called, major
oh,
the
the
major
model minority myth. Yeah.
yeah, you actually see this in a lot of movies. You see this a lot of in movies, especially in series and stuff, where like they portray as smart, like taking AP classes,
Mhm.
having a high grade, became like a, as it called, like the walking encyclopedia or something,
Oh, okay.
or like yeah, like human calculator or
Mhm,
something. So it, like seeing that before is helps other people to see other Asians as the same thing as that.
mhm,
S and then for now, for like as today, people actually, they say as remodel um minority myth. They like remodeling it to where they portray it as perfect. In movies they portray it as different. They portray as like this movie called Crazy. Like there's a lot of Asian movies that
mhm,
portrays differently, different to being a perfect, like imperfect, to being not not being rich, showing how they actually are suffering from the poverty, moving here, how difficult it is, and then like being a rebel and stuff. So yeah.
mhm. Well, very well said. Thank you so much, Juan. This was a very interesting and very informative conversation that we had. And I hope everyone that's watching today can get a little something out of it. So thank you so much. And this is another episode of the Border Talks podcast. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining this episode of the Border Talks podcast. Below, we're going to link down the StopAAPIHate.org website and other helpful links so you can help bring funds and awareness to the Asian American community. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.